Hi everyone, I hope all is well. I am going to go through Revelation chapter 13 with you and do a study on each verse. I'm going to go verse by verse and read it and then discuss each of it. Now, I know that it's pretty lengthy and the Bible is really in depth, so I'm going to try to give as much information without taking up a, a lot of time. Yeah, I mean, it is going to be lengthy, but I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible. So let's just get right into it, okay? And I want to do the book of Revelation. I want to do chapter 13 because we're actually living in that time period right now. What is happening in the world right now is actually a reflection of Revelation 13, prophecy coming to life. Okay, so let's get started. Get right into it. Okay, so I'm going to read 13, verse 1. I'm reading from King James Version. So, Revelation chapter 13, verse 1 says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy." Okay? So, the beast rising up has 10 crowns, right? So these crowns stand for government, kings, okay? The number 10 stands for completeness. So that government is complete with its own set of laws. You know how, like, God's kingdom, I mean, there are many laws, but God gave Moses 10 laws to take back, the 10 commandments to take back to his people, and it was his laws for his government, his kingdom. So this beast kingdom has its own set of laws, and it is a complete government, okay? Also, the number 7. The number 7 represents completeness and perfection. I took a bunch of notes, so that's what I'm reading from. And it's a side note here. It's interesting to note that the Lord's Prayer has 7 petitions in it, so it's a perfect and complete prayer. Okay, so this is a complete government. Okay, and crown. Also, I wanted to know that crown. Did you know that corona? Corona comes from the Latin word, is the Latin word for crown. Corona is the Latin word for crown. In the lexico powered by Oxford, the meaning of corona in astronomy is the rarefied gases envelope of the sun and other stars. The sun's corona is normally visible only during a total solar eclipse, when it is seen as an irregularly shaped pearly glow surrounding the darkened disk of the moon. And in physics, it is the glow around a conductor at high potential, a small circle of light seen around the sun or moon due to the diffraction by water droplets. And in anatomy, it means a part of the body resembling or likened to a crown. Okay, so coronavirus, corona means crown. So it's alluding to a government, okay, and it's global. Okay, so let's read verse 2. Okay, so verse 2, and the beast which and it spoke blasphemy. Upon its head the name of blasphemy, and blasphemy is anything going against God and his kingdom. So this government is going to speak blasphemy and go against God and make itself try to make itself above God. and his laws. Okay? Verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a beast. No, his feet as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So the dragon is Satan the devil. Because remember that he was hurled out of heaven, the great dragon in Revelation chapter 12, the great dragon was hurled out of heaven and came down to the earth having great anger. Okay, so that is Satan the devil. And so this beast government, this beast system is like unto a leopard. Okay, so I looked up, I prayed about this in I believe that Jesus did show me, because I've been wanting to learn this for a long time, and now is the time to know it, because it is actually happening now. So so when I looked up the national animals for different countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iran all are leopards. Okay, so Afghanistan is a snow leopard, Pakistan is the snow leopard, and Iran is a Russian leopard. No, I'm sorry, a Persian leopard. Iran is Persian leopard. And isn't it interesting that Persia in the book of Daniel talks about Persia a lot? And Persia is modern day Iran. So Iran is very much connected to this beast government, okay? Also, so it says it's like the leopard, right? So it's like Middle East. Okay, so what's happening globally now? What is happening globally now that might be like the Middle East? Might be like Iran, okay? So here is a picture. I want to show you an image that's taken from Los Angeles Times in 2016. Okay, and it says it's talking about Iranian women. It's about their going to the polls and taking part in elections. But that's not my point with this picture. My point is showing you the women's garb, their garb. Okay. So this is what they wear. This symbolizes Middle Eastern. And there are other images too that I found. This one is on Pinterest. Took that from Pinterest. Okay. All right. And look at what we have in the streets. Now, does this look like... Now, this is taken from videos, YouTube videos regarding what's happening now with the protests. And this is the streets of LA. You can look it up. It's just Google it. Just YouTube it. You'll find tons of videos. And this is the United States now, okay? Military, masks, looking like Iraq, Iran, Middle Eastern with the military and the masks. Look, in the streets. Here's an interesting one. Here's a woman. Here's one. Look, covering the face. What does that look like? Looks like they're in the Middle East, in the middle of war, right? Okay. Here is another one on that same video. You can look this up. It's on YouTube. Anybody can see it. And look, she sends, and interesting enough, in this YouTube, right? This woman, she walking down the street. She stands between the officer, the military, police, or whatever you want to call them, and then she stands there for a second, and then she walks away from them. And I snapped it just in time. But here she is with her black mask around military forces. And the Bible says that um, here they are again. And the book of Daniel, chapter 11, 7 or 11, talks about this, the rise of the Antichrist, and the Antichrist would beef up military and so forth, and send out his armies. And before, and I know it's in this world, in this time, because here's another one I wanted to show you. Here they are, and people walking by with their black masks on. Okay, so tell me that doesn't look like the Middle East, like a leopard, right? And then here we have, of course. So so this is supposed to be so I'm sorry. So I'm gonna finish telling you what I was gonna say. In this time, I knew that the Antichrist was Donald Trump. I knew that. I knew that before he went into office. I knew before that, and I knew he was going to be the president, and I knew that he was the Antichrist. I already knew that. I knew that when Obama was president, I knew that that was our 11th hour, and now Trump is the 12th hour. This is it. He is the Antichrist. He's going to bring about the Great Tribulation. He's the little horn in Daniel. He's the one that sends out forces and all this stuff and changes times. And the time is now. He is the one. Okay, so now, so if this is supposed to be, and this is taken from Millennial Motto Instagram. I just snapped a shot because of the image here. And if this is supposed to be, the mask is supposed to be worn because of a pandemic, and it's for our protection and for others' protection, why has it become such a fashion statement? Why does my daughter have to wear a mask to work until the end of the year? Why do I go to the post office and see this girl with a mask on, a black mask with all beaded diamond studs all through the mask, like a fashion statement, and she makes them? Why are people making these to sell as a fashion statement? Why? If it's just a pandemic, protection for sickness. This doesn't spell sickness to me. This spells like it's a fashion thing. Now, this is part of our culture now. Okay, like Middle Eastern, like the leopard, like Iran. Okay, so here we go. Of course, we have the faithful, trusty celebrities who uphold everything that is wrong and Illuminati based. Okay, so here we have another picture of more fashion masks. Fashion masks. Okay? This is our life now. This is global. This is global. It's not just the United States, it's global. It's worldwide. Okay? And then here, I don't know if you've ever watched Controversy 7, but he also has that mask on his channel. So, he's talking about all the things wrong with this world, but he knows it. He's looks like a supporter in that picture. Okay, so let's go to the feet of a bear. So the feet of a bear. The bear, China is a giant panda. And isn't that interesting how their national animal is a giant panda, and this beastly government has the feet of a bear. And this pandemic, this corona, this crown, this came out of China. Supposedly, that's what they say. Now, I've read, well, that's what the media shows. That's what it all shows, that it's a virus that started in China. Everybody got sick there first. Okay, so, I mean, where it came from, who knows? I mean, they've all worked on this together. This has been a planned thing. All right, so, and now the mouth of a lion. I have some tea, everyone. Like, I hope that you got yourself something because it's going to be lengthy. I'm going through every single verse. So I'm going to try to go as quickly as I can, but I hope you get some tea. Just relax. Take notes, please. Write down scriptures. I'm going to be citing scriptures. Okay. Now, let's talk about the mouth of a lion. Now, the animal for... the national animal for UK, England, is a lion. Now, it has the mouth of a lion because it speaks. The lion is speaking this and telling everybody what to do and where this is coming from, how this is going to go, right? So this is an Illuminati thing. This is the higher ups. If you don't know about Illuminati, Freemasons, then you need to research that. That's vital. I mean, they established this country. They established the America. America came from England. Yes, it did. And Freemasonry started in England. So here, I'm going to read www.history.com says about Freemasonry, the start of Freemasonry. It says, in 1717, the first Grand Lodge, an association of lodges, was founded in England, and Freemasonry was soon disseminated throughout the British Empire. The first American Mason Lodge was established in Philadelphia in 1730, and future revolutionary leader Benjamin Franklin was a founding member. Wikipedia in 1730 or 1731, Franklin was, and yeah, this is from Wikipedia. In 1730 or 1731, Franklin was initiated into the local Masonic Lodge. He became a Grand Master in 1734, indicating his rapid rise to prominence in Pennsylvania. Okay, so, yeah, Illuminati is the voice, Freemasonry is the voice of this beastly system. Okay? So there you have it. There's the three components of this beastly government that is worldwide. And we can see every single one of them right now on stage. Okay? This government has been set up. It's already here. The corona, and that's what the corona is all about. It's showing you the crown. You know, this kingdom has been born. It's here. It looks like a leopard. And it has the feet of a bear, and it has the voice of this this lion, Freemasonry, Illuminati. Okay? All right. Now let's read verse 3. We're going to read 3 and 4 together. All right. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Okay, so this is talking about, this is also in the book of Daniel. If you read Daniel chapter 11, verse 21 through 32, it talks about how this ruler, this king, there's going to be war when this Antichrist ruler comes into play. So this is signifying war. So there is going to be war, and he is going to actually lose at one point and come back, turn his attention to God's people in anger, and that's, he's going to go against God's people, and we're going to be persecuted. Okay, so there is going to be war. Okay, so let's read verse 5 and 7 I'm not going to read Daniel 11:21 through 32. Please read it, because I don't want to take up too much time. We have a lot to cover. Okay, verse 5 through 7. We're going to read that now. Revelation 13:5 through 7. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Power was given him all kindreds and tongues and nations, which is global. Okay? Okay, so he speaks blasphemy. So, let me show you something. Okay, so first of all, the 40 and 2 months is 3.5 years. Okay? And 3.5 years is spoken about for the Great Tribulation. Daniel chapter 12 talks about times and a half a time. That's 3.5 years. Matthew 24. Read these Bible verses, these Bible chapters. Matthew 24, Mark chapter 13, Luke chapter 21, all talks about this great tribulation that will be for 3.5 years. Okay, so the great tribulation, that's 3.5 years, is when he's coming after God's people. He turns his attention, and we suffer great tribulation for 3.5 years. And it's also in Revelation chapter 12, verse 14, 3.5 years. Okay? All right. I want to show you something that he speaks blasphemy against God, right? Blasphemy against God is going against his word, making yourself in his place, putting yourself above him, blaspheming his name, going against anything holy, or God himself and his people, that would be included in blasphemy. And he's going to go after God's people, and he puts himself above God and says that he wants to be worshipped as a God. That talks about that in the book of Daniel. And if you're not aware of what happened recently, I thought I took a snapshot of it. But recently, if you look it up, oh, here it is. I have a snapshot. Okay, so this is on Jimmy Kimmel. It says it's on Jimmy Kimmel YouTube. You can look it up on YouTube. Jimmy Kimmel on protest Trump's Bible photo op and white privilege. So this is what he did. I'm trying to make it big for everyone to see. Okay. I must tell you that I am not the best. Okay, here's what he did. Okay, so here's what Trump did. If that's not he didn't say a word. Okay, so he walks over with music behind him and all his people, his cabinet, or whoever they are, I don't know, in their suits, and they walk over. He walks over to this church, and Trump, if states refuse to take necessary action, and he stands in front of this church, and it's the sign of the church, and holds up a Bible. Like, hello, what are you trying to say here? Holds up a Bible, doesn't say anything, and then walks away. So that's his photo op, okay? That's it. That's all I saw on YouTube. I didn't see him making a speech. I didn't see him saying anything. I didn't see him saying a prayer for everything that's happening. None of that. He just holds up the Bible like he's the authority. He is God, okay? So he's going to hold himself up as a God, and it says it in the Bible, okay? So that's blasphemy. All right. So let's go to verse 8 and 10. 8 through 10, we're going to read that now. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Yep. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay, now that's pretty self-explanatory. He is going. Many people are going to worship him. Of course, not God's people, because we know our God, and we're not going to worship him. And it says that and he's going to come after God's people because they don't worship him. They don't do what he says. And so it says some will be captive, some will be killed. It says it in the book of Revelation. Okay, it says it that's going to happen. It says it in the book of Daniel also. And so it says those who leadeth into captivity go into captivity. Those who kill with the sword shall be killed by let me read it because I'm botching it up here. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience of the saints. And this is saying that we are going to be persecuted. So we must be patient. We can't remember when they went after Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, and one of his disciples, I want to say Peter, but I have to read it again. One of his disciples cut off the ear of the soldier who captured Jesus and who wanted to arrest Jesus, and Jesus healed him again and said, that's not what you do. So we are not to fight back when we are taken. We're not supposed to fight these military people or fight the Antichrist back. We're not supposed to kill them or try to kill them or anything like that, because that's not how this is supposed to go. Okay, so yeah, that's what that's talking about. So that's why it's saying that's patience. We're to be patient, and because we're going to prevail. We are going to prevail in the end, okay? Okay, so now we're going to read verse 11. Okay, so verse 11 says, And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. He had another beast coming out of the earth. He had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. He had horns like a lamb. Okay, a lamb being somebody meek, like a godly person. Okay, a sheep, like God's sheep, like a lamb. Like Jesus was the lamb who took away the sins of the world. Okay, so he was going to. So he wanted to appear like a lamb. He appeared like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon. But he was a dragon like the devil, right? Like sheep in, like a lamb, like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, so who was likened to wolves in sheep clothing? That's like the religious leaders, who are false religious leaders, false prophets. So this is a religious thing. Okay. So this is another beast. So there's not just one beast, there's 2 beasts. Okay, so we read about the government beast, and then another beast emerged, and this is that was the political beast, and this is the religious beast. Okay, so now we have a false prophet, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. So he has just as much power as this political beast. Okay, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So the deadly wound is from war, because he's gonna go to war, right? But he's not gonna. He's gonna come through that. He's gonna lose, but then he's gonna come through that. Okay, so we read about that earlier in the scriptures. Okay. And how do we know that this beast, again, this second beast, is religious power? First of all, they likened it to a lamb, like wolf in sheep's clothing. And now we're going to go to 13 and 14, verse 13 and 14, because it's going to confirm it even more. Okay, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Great wonders, miracles, okay? And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. That would be in a religious sector, miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast. Okay? All right, so that's the religious sector, false prophets. Okay, so that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Okay? See, there was war. He lost. I mean, there's going to be war. In the Daniel, it talks about he went to war. He came back victorious, but then he goes again, and the ships of Chittim go against him, and so he loses, and he comes back angry, and he turns against God's covenant, God's people. Okay, so now let's go to verse 15. We're getting there. Hopefully we'll. Okay, it's been like 30 minutes, so okay. Verse we did verse 13 and 14. Now we're going to do verse 15. Verse 15. Okay. So in verse 15 it says, let me take some more tea if you don't mind. Have some sip of tea with me. Did you get tea? Did you get something to drink? I have herbal tea. It's chamomile. Yeah, chamomile with honey. Very good. Okay. Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he gave power. I'm going to read it again. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay. It's referring us to Revelation 16:2, so I'm going to read that. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. Worshipped his image. Okay. Worshipped the beast's image. That says a lot, okay? Because a lot of people think that, and I used to think that it was because of the book of Daniel and Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, and how Nebuchadnezzar built this image for them to bow down and worship to, right? But it's not an actual image. It's not, because this image, he caused this image to both speak and cause, and to both speak and cause that as many that not to worship the image of the beast should be killed. So he caused it to speak, okay? And an image, this is not referring to a graven image. This is not referring to a statue that they're going to build and say, oh, worship this statue or else. It's not. It's not. It is, okay, and I'm going to read a couple of scriptures to just reiterate that. Okay, so to prove that. Okay. First of all, we're going to look up we're going to read the Google Dictionary talks about an image, right? This is what an image is. Okay. It's the general impression that a person, organization, or product presents the public. Okay? So, the general impression that a person, organization, or product presents the public. And in the Merriam Dictionary, Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it says image, a mental conception held in common by members of a group and symbolic of a basic attitude and orientation. Okay, so it's an image. It's the concept. It's a concept, a mental concept. It's an attitude. Okay, it's symbolic. All right. So another definition in Merriam-Webster is a popular conception as of a person, institution, or nation projected, especially through the mass media. So it's a popular conception. So what is this concept? Now we have a popular conception through the media where everybody's wearing masks. Everybody is standing 6 feet apart, which we're going to get into the 6 feet. Okay, we're going to get there in the next few verses. So this is the whole concept. This is the whole image. When you go outside, you look at this image of this beastly system, and they want us to worship this image and be a part of this image and take it on as our own. Okay? But it's not God's image. It's the beastly image. This is not God's image. These masks and this 6 feet and all this social distancing and all of this, and there's probably going to be more stuff that's going to be put on us, and it's not God's image. It's the image of this new government, this one world global beast system. Okay, this is worldwide. How can you make the whole world stand 6 feet apart? How can you make the whole world wear masks? This is global. This is the power that the dragon has given this beast. Okay? All right. So, we're going to read Romans 1:21 through 25, okay? Now, also, I wanted to bring out about the image. It's not a graven image because in Judges, I think it's chapter 17 verse 4, it talks about molten images. In Jeremiah chapter 10, there's verses in the Bible that say that not to be afraid of graven images because they can't speak, they can't hear, they can't walk, they have no power, they are powerless. These graven images, they can't speak, they can't hear, they can't walk. So the fact that this beast causes the image to speak means it's not a graven image, okay? It's people. It's the people who are involved in this government, this image, the image of this global government has a voice, okay? It speaks. All right. It tells you through mass media, do this, do that, do this, do that. All right. Okay. Do you get it? Can you see that? I hope you can see that. I really hope you can see that. Okay. So, I wanted to read Romans to talk more about the image. Romans chapter 1, verse 21 through 25. Okay, so in Romans chapter 1, verse 21 through 25, it says, because that when they knew God, they glorified him, not as God, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Imaginations, that's an image, okay, in your mind. Imaginations. Okay, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, and dishonored their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Okay, so it's they worship this image. Okay, so let's go to Romans 8. We're going to read Romans 8. Romans 8, verse 29. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestine to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. To be conformed to the image of his Son. To be conformed to the image of Jesus. The Bible says that we are to become the image of Jesus Christ. Okay? So does that mean that that's not talking about a statue. Is talking about our personality, our image, how we conduct ourselves. Okay, we're going to read one more. Colossians. We're going to read Colossians chapter 3, verse 1 through 10. Okay, because it's talking about image, okay? Okay, so if he then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in God. When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall he also appear with him in glory. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinance, affection, evil concupiscence. Why can't I say that word? Concupiscence. Oh my gosh, I can't say that word. Concupiscence. Forgive me, please. And covetousness, which is idolatry. For which things sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience, in the which ye also walked some time when he lived in them. See, we lived in that image, but we're no longer in that. That is an image. That is an image, okay? All these things that he said that we don't do anymore is an image, okay? We're not in that image anymore. We're in the image of God. Love, kindness, joy, peace, all right? In the voice he also walked sometime when he lived in them. But now he also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not on to another, seeing ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. So all these things are an image. It's an image. It's a look. It's your personality. It's how you're conducting yourself. Okay, so that is the image that we don't want to follow. If you have the mark of that image, if you have that image, this beastly image, then you're part of this beastly system, okay? And that's what the image is talking about. Don't get that image. Don't worship this image that they're portraying. Okay, so now we're going to go to 16, Revelation 16. We're at 45 minutes, everyone. I am sorry, but this is important, and we are nearing its end. So please bear with me, and I hope you're still with me, because this is really important, and you're going to gain a lot from this, and you need to read it on your own too. Okay, so now we're in there's verse 16, 17, and 18. So we're going to discuss those three verses, but one at a time. Okay, verse 16 now. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, this is deep, because many people think that it's an actual literal mark, but it's not a literal mark. There are people now who have the mark of the beast, okay? They have the mark of the beast already, and more will be getting the mark of the beast, but it is not a chip. That is not the mark of the beast, but it can lead to getting that. If you have that mark, it can lead to getting those things, which, you don't want to get those things, because that is part of the mark, but it's not the mark. Okay. Okay, so let's discuss the mark on the right hand. The mark on the right hand, okay? There are so many scriptures that talk about this. When Jesus revealed this to me, I was so excited, because it makes so much sense, and I saw it so clearly. Okay, so the mark, the right hand of God, okay? There's so many scriptures. Okay, so let's talk about it. The meaning of the right hand, the right hand stands for righteousness, God's judgment, in a place of favor with God, okay? The right hand. Okay, and we can see that in many, many scriptures. In Exodus 15:16, it says, Thy right hand, O Lord, is become gracious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord, had dashed in pieces the enemy. Psalm 17. Show thy marvelous loving kindness, O those that savest by thy right hand, them which put their trust in thee, from those that rise up against thee. Psalm 26:10. In whose hands is mischief, and their right hand is full of bribes. Okay, so your right hand, you don't want to get a mark in that right hand. That would be a mark in your right hand. Okay, that would be a mark in your right hand. Okay, Matthew 5:30. And if thy right hand offer thee, cut it off. If their right hand offend thee, cut it off, and cast it from thee. Matthew 25:33. And he shall set the sharp on his right. He shall set the sheep. This is Jesus separating the sheep and the goats, okay? He shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. Revelation 1:20. Jesus holds the 7 stars in his right hand, which are the angels of the 7 churches. Jesus sits on the right hand of his Father also. Okay? Okay, I'm not going to read these. I'm going to give this to you. Please read these. Read Isaiah 41, verses 10 through 13. And Isaiah 44:20, I'll read that one real quick. He feedeth on ashes, and a deceiveth heart had turned him aside, that he cannot deliver his soul, nor say, Is there not a lie in my right hand? Okay? So right hand, you don't want to tarnish that. You don't want to tarnish your standing with God. You want to stay on the right hand of God. Like when you're doing all these evil things, you're losing your place. You're losing your place of favor, pretty much. Okay? All right. So now we're going to talk about the mark on the forehead. Okay, so Deuteronomy, the mark on the forehead is a blemish on the forehead, and that is like it's not a little mark, okay? It's what your heart is toward, what you're doing. Remember Deuteronomy chapter 6. We're going to read that real quick. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 6 through 9. Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 through 9. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently into thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes. Forehead. God's laws, God's commands should be before us. Okay? You don't want the mark of the beast on the forehead, because that means that that law system, that governmental system is bound between your forehead. That is what you look toward, okay? No, you want to put God's laws here. You want to stay, you don't want that beastly system mark on your forehead, okay? Does that make sense? And please go back and read these. And then it says, and thou shalt write them upon thy posts, on thy house, and on thy gates. Okay? So God's laws are to be before you, and they should be between your eyes. Okay? On your forehead. Revelation 7:3 says, sealed in the servants of our God in their foreheads. So God said not to harm anybody until God seals all his people in their forehead. Okay, it's not a literal seal. It's a seal that means you belong to him. You don't want a seal on your forehead that belongs to this beastly system. Okay? Seals of God in their foreheads, Revelation 9:4, Revelation 14:1, have their father's name written in their foreheads. God's people have their father's name written in their foreheads. That's why you don't want the mark of the beast on your forehead. Do you get it now? Can you see that? And having that, and going toward that world and putting that in your heart and doing that, living a life of that, would be marking your forehead and your right hand. Okay? And upon his forehead, Revelation 17, and upon his forehead was a name written. Okay, this is talking about Babylon the Great. This is false religion. This is another example of written on the forehead, a mark on the forehead. Okay, so Revelation 4:17 is talking about false religion. It's talking about Babylon the Great, who is Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican, Roman Catholic Church, and her harlots, all the offshoot churches that came from that church. Okay? And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. But was it literally written on her forehead? No. It was figuratively. It was what they were geared to, what was in their hearts. Okay? And it's interesting to note that God's people have a seal from God on their forehead, but those who worship the beast have a mark on their forehead. Okay, yes, I'm so glad I wrote that down. Okay, there is a difference. That's right. Okay, I forgot about that, but see, that's why you write things down. Okay, God's people have a seal on their forehead, but the beast, those who worship the beast, have a mark on their forehead. Okay, so let's see the difference between a seal and a mark. A seal is something, when you think of a seal, remember that God couldn't, it's something sacred, right? A seal. Remember when Jesus, the seven seals, the scroll with the seven seals, and no one was found worthy to open it but Jesus, so he opened up the seals, the seven seals on the scroll in Revelation. Those seals are something sacred on the inside, right? So we're sealed with God's name on our forehead, okay? So, but Satan's people, the beast, they have a mark on their forehead. And let's look up the mark. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary calls the mark, it's also known as a blemish. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things it alludes to. Okay, so a standard of performance, quality, or condition. So it's your performance, your quality, your condition. Okay, a distinguished trait or quality, a lasting or strong impression. That's a mark, a lasting and strong impression. That's the impression. They have this impression of this beast system. An assessment of merits. So it's assessment of merits like low merits. It's not very good. A symbol used for identification. Okay, so this is a good one. A symbol used for identification or indication of ownership. Okay, so this beast system owns you if you have that mark on your forehead. Sorry, something in my eye. Okay, so this is good. This is good. Okay, so I hope you're getting all that. Read these scriptures. Okay, so now we're nearing end because we have, let me see, verse 17 and 18. Okay, verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, so that mark was, if you're not on board with this world government, if you're not a part of it, if you're not looking like it, if you're not doing what it tells you to do, then you're not gonna be able to buy or sell. Okay, and then it says, okay, so you might not buy or sell. Okay, so here's an example. They're saying that you have to go into, like, in some towns, some states, you cannot go into the grocery store unless you have this mask on. Okay, but that is not like, I'm not saying that if you have been shopping and you've worn a mask, that's the mark of the beast. I'm not saying that. But all these things together is going to lead up to, like, it's ultimate that you're not going to be able to, okay, buy or sell. Because from this, okay, so now this coronavirus, so from this, what's next? So now there's a vaccine, right? So they're working on a vaccine, and they say it's going to be here in a year to 18 months or whatever. There's going to be this vaccine, and they're probably going to say that you have to take the vaccine. So now they're pushing the envelope. They're pushing it a little further, okay? Oh, they're all this, okay, they're wearing their masks and everything, and they're afraid of the coronavirus. So now they're going to scare everybody into getting this vaccine when God's people know better that you don't get no vaccine. You don't get this thing into your body, because what's in this thing, who knows? Could be chips. Of course, it's going to be aluminum and all kinds of poisons and toxins, and to change our DNA structure, and the chip can be put into you through a needle. So how do you know they're not putting a chip in you? You cannot take a vaccine shot. You cannot take a vaccine shot. Okay. So they may say, now here's going to come to the point where, okay, you can't go to school unless you have this vaccine shot. You can't go to work unless you have this vaccine shot. You can't go to the grocery store unless you have this vaccine shot. You can't be in society unless you have this vaccine shot. Now, okay, so now they're not taking money. Okay, so I went to Bed Bath and Beyond. No, not Bed Bath and Beyond. Sorry, I went to Bath and Body Works. Right, I don't use their stuff on my skin because it's filled with toxins. If you read the back, but I do get the plugins for my house. I do get the plug-in fragrances, and that's what I get there. So I went there after it all opened up and all that stuff, and was standing in line and all this stuff, and it was so horrendous. Okay, so the guy, the police, the security guard was wearing a mask, and he's like standing. We're all outside in line. We have to stand outside. Only 8 people, which is could be inside that store. Which 8 is, and the store was large, but only 8 people at a time could be inside that store. And so 8 is like, that is Donald Trump's number. 88 is the number. You can look that up. Okay, so that is significant. That number is significant. And then when you go in there, they're like, we can't, we're not taking money. We don't take cash. We're not taking cash. So I had to pay with a debit card. So already stores are not taking cash. Why? Because they're blaming it on the corona. This coronavirus can make everything happen that is supposed to happen. Okay, so it's a crisis government. And okay, so now no more cash because it has viruses attached to it. You can't touch it. And no more and now you have to get a vaccination shot. So here's the shot that makes you not be able to buy or sell, putting this stuff into your body. Or, and maybe they will come out with a chip that says now you have to be chipped so that you could so that we can see whether you're vaccinated or not. So it all culminates, you know what I mean, to more and more and more and more. Okay, so and there is a scripture that says that everybody with the mark of the beast will get a boil. So this shot or this chip or whatever they're going to do to us could cause like a boil on our skin, so yeah, we can't get any of that. Okay, we can't get any of that. All right, so now verse 18, and here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So the number of this beast is the number of the man, and it is 666. And I have another video that talks about 666. 666 is this government, this beast government, which is in opposition to God's government. God's government is structured by the number 9, okay? 9s, which is the opposite, as above so below. It's the opposite. 9 is the opposite of 6 when it's upside down. I have another video that talks about that. And it's really the number 6 because, and really God's people are signified by the number 9 because it's God's 9 is the last government to stand. It's the last number of numbers. I don't do numerology, but the Bible is structured by numbers, so that's why I can, here it is 666. I mean, numbers are important in the Bible. So the number 9 is the last number when you're counting, right? Because it then comes back to 1 again, 10. So number 9 is the last number, and that's God's government is signified by the number 9 because it's the last government to stand. It's the end all. It's God's kingdom is the end of it all. It is the last kingdom to stand ever. There will be no other kingdom after that ever. So and New Jerusalem is by 999. Its breadth, width, and length is 999, and God uses three, let me see. And even the number of the angel, the size of the angel is 216 feet tall. So, and that's also 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So, so Satan has reversed everything, and his number is 666, and that's his government. Okay. So now, when you're out and about and you're walking around, that's already here. It says. Here is wisdom. Use wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So it's 3 times. It's really 6, but it's magnified 3 times, because that solidifies it. It is done. I have another video that talks about how God uses 3. Like when he says, he asks I think Simon Peter, do you love me? Like 3 times. And Simon says, yes, you know I love you. You know I love you, Lord. And he asks him again, and he asks him again. He goes, yeah, yes, you know I do. And the reason he did that 3 times is like to solidify, to say, yes, you love me. That is solid. That is a wrap. Okay, so it is done. So that's why things happen. He does things 3 times in the Bible. It's so many times in the scriptures. It's so much in the scriptures that Jesus does that. And so that's why it's 666. It solidifies in that. And so so when you're walking out and you go out into the world now, okay, so now in this beast system, when you go outside, you are in Revelation chapter 13. It is alive and well, okay? The crown, Corona, the crown, the government, the 10, it's complete. This government is complete. It's like a leopard with the look of the Middle East. It's like a bear coming out of China, the feet of a bear that tramples on everything, that trampled on the whole world with this coronavirus. Okay, and there may be a real virus, but I don't think there's really a real virus. There may be like a real virus. There may be somewhat of a virus, but they're blowing it up into that, and it's called coronavirus. Okay, because it's a crown. They've put their kingdom on earth, honey. It's done. Okay, so you got that, and you got the mouth. You got speaking from a lion. It's got the mouth of a lion, because this is all governed by the Illuminati. They spoke it. They say what to do. They say how it comes to pass. They're the Illuminati. They are Freemasonry, and they are from England, and England is the lion. Okay. And then you got this. Now you got this 666. Okay. So when you go out and you see all this stuff, and you see all these things that are happening, and now you go into the store and you see 6 feet, stand 6 feet. So you go into the store and you see a sign that says stand 6 feet and wear a mask. So why, if it's if it's just about a virus being spread, why do you have to wear a mask and stand 6 feet? So the mask isn't good enough, so you have to wear a mask and stand 6 feet. So it's 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. So it's 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 everywhere. Everybody's standing 6 feet apart. That you're standing on the ground of the beast system. That is why everyone has to stand 6 feet apart, as governed by this beast system. It's 6, 6, 6, and that's why you see 6 everywhere. You go in this grocery store, you see circle 6 feet, circle here 6 feet, circle here 6 feet. You stand there, you stand there, you stand there. 6, 6, 6 everywhere. Okay, that is what it's all about. It's not about a virus, a pandemic. It is not about a pandemic. I'm telling you now. It's about Revelation chapter 13 and this new world order, this new government, this beastly government that has been set up. It is in motion. It is alive. It is set up. Okay? So next comes the further markings of this beast system, where you have to do more or you can't buy or sell. That is coming very, very soon. I believe it's going to be here next year when they say you have to get this shot or else. Okay, so don't get the vaccination shot. Do not get the vaccination shot. Okay, so I love you. I hope this has been thorough. It's been, the more I go on here and I show you things, the more Jesus shows me, and I am so happy to be able to do it. I feel so blessed to be able to understand what's happening right now and to convey it to others. And many people who understand are telling other people. So thank you so much for listening and watching. I love you all. We got to go through it to get to it. And we have to go through this. It's Bible prophecy. And just know that we're coming out of the other side victoriously in God's kingdom. And Jesus will be arriving soon. So, yeah. 3.5 years after the Great Tribulation starts. Which it will start soon. I don't know the exact day when it's going to start. I can't say. I don't know. Nobody knows that. But know that we're in the season for it. So I love you and take care. And I'll be back on with more videos as I get more understanding of the Holy Scriptures. Love you. Bye.